Hey everyone! Good morning. It's Rita from It's Rita to the Rescue here for today's Cricut Chat. It's a brand new week here at Cricut Chat. And so I want to welcome any new folks and just sort of say hi and how are you? Boy, summer is in full swing here in New England. This is a little unusual. June is usually a pretty, mild month. And lately we've been having 90-degree weather. So I'm thankful for, I'm definitely thankful for my air-conditioned home. I think that's great. And yes, Happy New Week. We've got a great month planned, rest of the month planned for you. I've got that, and we're going to start with doing sort of a mystery material that a lot of people don't know about. It's called Oilcloth, and it has a really interesting origin story, so I'll tell you a little bit about that. And then we're going to actually be cutting it on the Cricut. We're going to do it on the Maker 3. Here's what I'm cutting today. I'm cutting this bunting made out of oilcloth and going to string it up and use it outdoors. One of the things, being a paper crafter mostly, one of the things that's kind of difficult when you're crafting is you can't bring a lot of stuff outside. Or if you do, you have to take it down right away. And so this is a thing that I'm going to put up outside. It's going to do really well. You often will see this stuff on campers or on images of campers. Hi, Regina. Thank you. Hi, Guadalupe. How are you this morning? And hi, Christine. Good morning to everyone. So oilcloth, we're going to do this week. I have a number of projects around it, but I also have, I know Father's Day is pressing down. And so last night I pulled together a number of Father's Day projects and also some, so I have a print and cut Father's Day project that's free for Cricut Access. And I also have a box. I made a ton of projects this last night. And we also have some things by J. Goody Designs. I have a couple of things by Natalie Milan. I have Dreaming Tree, a couple of items from Dreaming Tree, one from Laurie Whitlock. We're going to get through them all. I've got a couple of really big vinyl projects. So if you're into vinyl, you want to hang on and see those projects. But today we're going to work on oilcloth. So if you're new, welcome. Say you're new, because the people that come every day, religiously every day, are the best people. They're so nice. And I've noticed that over the course of the last year, a lot of them have made friends with one another. They often exchange cards and things like that. So if you're sort of feeling a little bit lonely or not in a group, this is a fabulous group for that. Just so many wonderful people. We've got people from Texas and Massachusetts and Canada and Florida and everywhere, basically. And we can't forget Kathy from Idaho, because she always tells us she's from Idaho. And I just love that. Love. So I wanted to welcome back all my friends. But if you're new, hi, Holly. Holly's from Utah. So we get people from all over the place and at all different levels of crafting. And Michigan, yay, Michigan. So announce yourself, and also think about joining our group. It's called Cricut Chat with Miss Rita, and that is on Facebook. So if you're watching this on the replay on YouTube, there is a group on Facebook. Hi from the UK, and Renee, and who else? Reno, Nevada, Iowa. Yay, this is so lovely. So I just love being able to meet people from Virginia, Sandra, of course, Illinois. Everyone is so welcome here. And it's a great group. There's no competition, except maybe if you're trying to win a prize, maybe. But, and so just mention that. So speaking of prizes, I'm going to say at the top of the show that we do have this month's Bundle of Joy giveaway going on. There will be a description in the video. A link in the description of the video, and all you need to do is follow me on Facebook. That will get you one entry, and follow me on YouTube. That will get you 2 entries, and you can do that every single day, and the prize runs for 2 weeks. So, or the giveaway runs for 2 weeks. So, every day, go on over, and if you're already subscribed, just like, comment, share any of the videos, even if it's an old one, just comment and like, so I know that you're there. And you can do that on Facebook and on YouTube. And then make sure you click on the link, the Rafflecopter link, and enter in your name and email address. That is how you get your entries in, okay? So do that every single day, okay? So anyway, that's all of my updates for this morning. Let's talk about oilcloth. Now, some of my older friends might, or even my sewing friends, I don't know. What are you doing under here? Benji's visiting me underneath my desk. So some of my older friends might know what oilcloth is, or maybe if you're a sewer, you might know. But I remember this from my childhood because my mom always used it to make very utilitarian type of things, such as a clothespin holder or tablecloth or even place settings. She would even make what I would call a ditty bag that had on it, you know, like it was like a waterproof bag with a zipper, or you didn't even need to use a zipper. You could use like little buttons on it, like not, what do they call it? Snaps. Remember snaps? I like snaps. And she would use them, and so when we go to the pool, we could put our wet bathing suit in there, and it won't get everything else wet. That's how I remember oilcloth. These days, not a lot of people do use it, but it's still a wonderful material. And it is a material. It's a wonderful material for, for anything like in your kitchen to cover areas, just to sort of like your tables, if you're going to be cutting around them or you want to picnic, things like that. You can even make lunch bags and bowl covers. I've made little cosmetic cases that are so fabulous. So, because they never break, they never rip or tear or get dirty because you just wipe them off. So, so there's a lot to be done with oilcloth. So it is a cloth. I'm going to show you up close and personal what it is. So basically, it is it's a cotton canvas. You can see here real close. You see how it has this canvas kind of structure here, and then there is this, which is a design, and a lot of the designs are very vintagey, and you can pick up so many different colors. In fact, I got this one. This one is like a cherry with that nice green. I have a few more coming, but here's a nice gingham check. And I'm going to show you real quick. what you can do to get to sort of get some ideas. So all you'd have to do is, if you went to Pinterest, you can just type in oilcloth projects, and here you will see all kinds of projects. Here are the bags that I was talking to you about. But look, snack baggies, luggage tags. Look at this beautiful round edged table cover. What do you guys got? What are you doing? And I have sewn with this, and it is pretty easy to sew with it. The great thing about it is it doesn't fray, so it's perfect. Look at this table cover tutorial over here. So there's a lot of really different ideas here. There are a couple places to buy it. I used to buy it at fabric.com, but then I noticed they got sold to or purchased by Amazon. So now I just go right to Amazon and I just type in oilcloth material by the yard, and you will see that there are just all kinds. There's that traditional red check, but then there's some with flowers, hibiscus. Look at this one with the oranges, dotted, and just lots of different flowers. Now, oilcloth is not vinyl, although it is treated with vinyl. Originally, oilcloth was a canvas cloth that was treated with boiled linseed oil. So they would set up giant, like big racks outdoors. They'd boil down linseed oil, and they would like basically paint and dry, and paint and dry, and paint and dry these canvases. And this was for a weatherproofing. So for instance, if you were a fisherman, and you wanted to keep your gear dry, or you just wanted to have outdoor, and you could make like foul weather gear out of this stuff. It was very utilitarian. Well, and this is how they created it, with linseed oil, and they would just coat it, dry it, and then they could use it. It's sort of like a laminated fabric, and it's impervious to water. So in the 1950s, it sort of got an upgrade, and instead of the linseed oil, the canvas got PVC laminated to it, and that's the oilcloth we know now, is that it is a PVC, but it's different than the vinyl that you can buy. It's different than the vinyl that you can buy like for a tablecloth. Oftentimes you'll see vinyl that's flannel backed. That's not what this is, and that's very limited in use. This is extremely useful. Lots of different things that you can do with it. When you buy it, it usually comes in a very, very long roll. So if you guys decide, I got one that was in a box. If you buy it from like Amazon, I got a box delivered to me that was taller than me, and when I opened it up, it was on a roll. So be aware of that. They don't try not to fold it because it does crumple. And when you get a fold in it, it's not the end of the world. You can straighten it out, but they want to get that to you sort of with the least number of crinkles in it. So that's why it comes rolled up. So, of course, I needed to, being a sewer and somebody who loves oilcloth, I needed to figure out a way to cut this with my Cricut. And this is a job for the Maker or the Maker 3. This is not something you can do with the Joy. It's not at all. And the Explore, perhaps you could use the deep cut blade and you could try it. I have not tried it, so I think I probably will try it later on. But I think that it's really a job for the Rotary Blade, which is one of the blades that come with the Maker, okay? So where did I get this image and what did I do here? So I just went to, because I'm thinking in terms of, if you see a lot of vintage, like glamping photos, or sometimes, you'll see these little buntings all along. And yes, they can, Shirley, they can cut handmade paper. I haven't tried it, but yes, I'm told that it can. So I figured I'd start off with some bunting. So there's no sewing in this project. I think I'll do a couple of sewing projects. Dawn, what do you want to know about Fisher folk? Hi, Christina. Good morning. Welcome back. So what I decided to do was I decided to come up with just an easy banner that had the holes cut in. So then I could take and string it up with twine, because I want to put this outside. But then I decided I wanted to have different colors. So I got that other one out, and I did order a couple of other colors. So I just want to show you how to cut this with the maker. And then these holes were actually made with the maker, and I'm going to just do a really, really long strand, and I can keep it out all summer long. Rain or anything, it won't, unless it falls down, but it won't deteriorate, it won't get damaged. It's really, really impervious. Look at this. I mean, you can't rip it or anything like that. It's really great. It's great material. So I just went to do this. I went and I looked under images, and I typed in pennant, P-E-N-N-A-T, pennant, pennant. I might be spelling it wrong. Pennant. Or you could type in banner, I suppose. Yeah, nothing. I'm spelling it wrong. Why am I having a hard time? Pennant. All right, let me just... I'm so sorry. Let me do, what's the other word for it? Bunting. You could do bunting, or you could do, what's the word? Pennant. Okay, let me try pennant. But here's bunting. If you did P-E-N-A-N-T. Let me try that. Pennant. Thank you. I didn't see who told me about it. P-E-N-A-N-T. No? A-N-N-T? Oh, I don't know. Let's just banner. Let's call it a banner, or bunting, or if you can spell pennant, then you can put that in there, and you will find so many here. This is the one I chose because it was so simple, and I wanted to start off simple. I have cut oilcloth with my regular blade. Trying to remember, I did it way back, and I cut the most intricate little thing, but I didn't, like, I don't remember when that was. It was several years ago, and but I wanted to just get something that was simple. So this is the one I got. It's from, let's see, it's from Celebrations, which is a very old image set. That has a whole ton of these. And I just wanted to do plain, okay? So you'll see that there are a bunch with numbers here. We can just grab one of those and take out the number from there. So here you go. And I resized it to what I wanted, and then I did contour and took it out. And I have these. And so then I decided, okay, I want to make sure I maximize my project size, or my material that I'm going to do. So I duplicated this. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So I have 6 here. And what I did was I made, because I'm all about the saving of the material, right? So I took 3 and I snuck one in the middle between these two, because that's what you do when you save fabric. So then you have something that's a little bit more useful, or I guess useful. So then I did this here and turned these over like this. And then when I was done with this, I attached them. I didn't group them because grouping them, I'll show you what grouping them will do. So here's me grouping. I'm going to group and I'll show you what happened. I'm going to hide this one. So when I go to group and then I hit make it, it just sort of ends up everywhere. And look, there's only 2 on each one. So that's not going to work for me. I want it to be maximizing, and I think I can get 6 of these onto one 12 by 12. Now this one here is a little bit bigger. So what I should do excuse me, is I'm going to attach it, which is down here. It's a paper clip, and I'm going to make it a little bit smaller because I want to fit it on one mat. I'm going to make sure that the height is 11.5. So this is something that you'd have to cut on a mat, even if you have the Maker 3. So, but by attaching it and getting it so that it's only 11.5 inches tall, then when we hit make it, and we put it on the mat, you will see there it is. And then I'll be able to, from a 12 by 12 sheet of oilcloth, I'll be able to get 6 of these cut out. Isn't that grand? So good. And again, this is on the mat, and I'm going to, it's so much easier than having to rework them all, like to duplicate the project. So sometimes it's good to just increase the project copies, and other times it's good to do this technique. So just kind of be aware of that technique. So I'm just going to open up this one. I did it slightly different than this one, but it's about the same in terms of, let's see about sizes. Yeah, they're about the same size. So either one, and I will give you this project. Now, you don't have to cut oilcloth, remember. You can cut anything you want, and that includes paper. So just, grab this while you can. I'll leave the link in the description of the video, okay? So then we'll hit make it. And we can see that because I'm on the Maker 3, it's going to ask me if I'm going to use a mat or if I'm going to cut smart materials without the mat. I'm going to choose on mat because I need to use my rotary blade. And all of those special blades that we have for the Maker will need to be cut on a mat. That hasn't changed. So if you are going to be upgrading from the regular Maker to the Maker 3, don't get rid of your tools because they're interchangeable. So there you go. You can interchange them, and so it's not going to be like a whole new set of tools that you have to buy if you're going to upgrade. Okay, so hold on, let me take a drink. Okay, so we're going to hit continue, and we're going to prepare the mat, but first we're going to look at the base material. Now, when you go to browse all materials and you choose fabric, the subcategory of fabric, you will see there are many types of fabric, because there are many types of fabric out there. See that? Oh, I'd say there's about 100 different fabrics, including velveteen, burlap, silk, suede, and I don't think this includes leather. I think leather is in its own category. So when you scroll down, you'll come across 2 different kinds of oilcloth. You can have oilcloth bonded and oilcloth, just oilcloth. And since I don't know what they mean by that, since I don't really know what they mean by that, and because I've worked with this before, I'm going to look at the material settings, okay? So that is down here, right at the bottom in green. You can only get there when you go to Browse All Materials, okay? So Material Settings brings up all the custom materials, and it tells you the pressure, the number of cuts, and the blade type. Now, this is set by Cricut based on feedback and tests, but you can edit it. So if your experience is different, you can make changes and it will always be set. So that's why there's this edit button here, okay? Now, you can't edit it to something absolutely crazy, but you can make all kinds of changes. And you'll notice some blades require the knife blade, some other rotary blade, fine point, deep cut, that sort of thing. So let's scroll down. It's alphabetical. We're going to scroll down to the O's. And this is all, by the way, all of the different custom settings, not just the fabric. And so we've got oilcloth, bonded, and it has a pressure of 1800, and it's telling me that it's going to be cut on the rotary blade. And then I have oilcloth that is just plain old oilcloth, and it's 1433, so it's a little less than the bonded, but it also requires the rotary blade. Now, because I cut these out last night, I'm going to show you the difference between the two. And I originally cut on just oilcloth, and it didn't really cut through. So I then switched it up and did the bonded, and it cut through. But there are still pieces of thread that show up, and you're just going to have to sort of live with that and clip them by hand. But let me tell you, this is so much easier than cutting this out by hand. Just easier than cutting out by hand. And I don't know how you do the little circles, I guess a hole punch or whatever. But this is definitely easier to do with the machine. So let's choose, let's go back because we have to exit out of here. And we'll go to Browse All Materials again. We'll choose Fabric. And first we will do, as I said, we'll do the regular oilcloth. Now you'll see this sort of thing with a lot of materials. So like, for instance, there'll be just vinyl and they meet adhesive vinyl. And they'll just be like premium vinyl. And then you'll start seeing it get a little more detailed, like holographic or holographic sparkle, or, you know what I'm saying? Like iron-on, glitter iron-on. There are differences there, and so you need to be aware of that when you're choosing a setting. So this one we'll try just the plain old oilcloth, and I'll show you what you need to do. So you'll notice that it just requires the rotary blade in the clamp. This is a rotary blade, and you'll see on here, I put the word bad because I thought it was bad and I was going to return it to Cricut, but it turned out it was my machine that wasn't working well, remember? So they sent me a new machine. So this is actually not bad. I suppose I should just try to get that off, but of course I put it on permanently. So, but this is what it is. It is not part of the adjustable tool system because it doesn't have that little plunger here where you take this off. This is the way that it comes, and it is very sharp. Be careful, don't run your fingers over it. And you can replace the blade on this. You have to buy a blade replacement kit, and if that's something you want to see me do, I'm happy to show you, okay? So this is what we're going to need. Next, also, we're going to need the oilcloth. Now, cutting the oilcloth, you can just use regular scissors to cut the oilcloth. You want to try to get as close to 12 inches as you can. And for me, because because I'm just on the safe side, I did use masking tape on here, and I just like using masking tape. This also helps if you have a little bit of wrinkle in the oilcloth. So I don't think I need to show you how to put masking tape, but I will tell you that when you're cutting this, get yourself or go on the table, like a really wide surface, because you're going to be cutting it down and it's big. So you have to use like a scissor to cut it down into 12-inch strips, and then cut those strips into either 12 inches long or 24 inches long. It's up to you what you want to do. If you wanted to do this on a 24-inch mat, you can certainly do that, okay? So I put this on a mat. You could put it on a what kind of mat? The strong grip mat if you wanted to, but I just decided that I was going to put it on with the masking tape. Now this piece of this, I actually didn't cut this big enough, but that's going to be okay because oh no, yeah, this one is 11.5 inches. So this one's not actually going to be okay. We're going to have to take this other one that I put on here that is 11.5 inches. You see? I actually didn't put the tape on the bottom here. So I'm going to move you so you can see how the machine does this, okay? And I'll show you how to put the blade in and all of that wonderful stuff. I don't think you need to see what my screen shows. So here's the oilcloth setting, the original oilcloth setting, which remember the pressure was less. So I'm going to take my rotary blade and put it into my machine. You notice that I have my scoring stylus in there. I always keep that in there. And I am going to have to put in the rotary blade when the carriage returns. Okay, so this one's very, very tough to open, not like the other one. So we're putting it in there and we're just matching up those teeth with the teeth behind the maker. Okay, and remember that these tools only work with the maker. So if you have an Explorer, even if it's an Explorer 3, you can't use this particular type of tool in the machine because if you look at your Explorer, there are no teeth or gears, so it won't work. Okay, you might be able to like squeeze it in there, but you will be very disappointed. Okay, so here we're just going to hit OK. And you will see, especially if you do this for the first time with your rotary blade, you will see that it takes about a minute for the rotary blade and machine to sort of calibrate, but it only does that once, and then it starts to cut. This is just really really just so fabulous how this works. You can see it doing the circles, and that blade moves around there, and then it starts to cut those straight lines, and it's pretty good. The only problem is with this setting, and I'm going to show you what happens before we take it off. I'll show you, because this setting, it just doesn't cut all the way through. Now you could say, well, maybe you could try more, and I did try more. It still didn't cut all the way through. So I went back and looked at the custom material settings and decided that I was going to use the more pressure one, okay? And that worked out just fine. It did have some like strings there, but it worked out pretty well. So okay. Do the tools come with the maker? Okay, so if you buy the maker, the original maker, it comes with a rotary blade in packed in. That's because when the original maker was launched, it was really, the emphasis was on fabrics. So so a lot of people bought that and wanted to cut fabrics, and most fabrics are cut with the rotary blade. The other tools do not come. They are separate, and you can decide which ones that you want. I think there's let's see, besides the rotary blade, there's the knife blade, there's the deep cut blade, and then there's the foil transfer kit, and then you have something called an adjustable tool system. That is when you have this with this little plunger and these tips. So you need to just buy one of these like little plungery things, and then you buy all the tips separately. I have seen HSN sell these with all the tips, and the tips include engraving, let's see, engraving, perforation, wavy, scoring, and there's another one, deboss. Okay, now I'm not going to take this off here because I just want to show you that although it did cut, I'm going to try to get it so you can see. So although it did cut a good deal through, there's still little pieces that it's connected. So I can either take this off and use scissors and cut it through. Whoop, and that's what I'm going to have to do because my machine just made me take it out. So let's do that. So I'm going to take this off, and I'm going to remove my masking tape because I can use it for another time. And let's see. I'm going to move you down here just for a second. Okay. So just taking off the masking tape, and I will show you how it worked out. So it kind of worked, but it didn't work great. So you can see here, it's sort of connected, and that's because this is a canvas. You see these strings? It is a canvas that's covered with the PVC coating. So my suggestion is if you accidentally, and it didn't go through, you use that regular one, you can just take your scissors and just sort of snip those little pieces. This still has some of the masking tape on it. Let me take it off. It actually cut through on there. So you can do this and cut it, and it's a little more labor intensive, yeah, and you could, just kind of like, it's almost like it's perforated because of this material. Now, I would suggest, though, instead of we're doing it because we want to test it, and you don't have to go through the problem because I did it for you. So here we go. You're just going to pull that out like this, and it still saves a ton of time, and you get a perfect cut, you see? So let's do this again, but choose the oilcloth with the bonded setting, okay? And this can happen if you have a regular maker. So if you're like kind of debating, well, should I get a maker? Should I get a maker 3? If you have a maker, you can do this with the regular maker as well. Okay, so we're going to change our base material, browse materials. We can go to fabrics and choose, instead of just the plain oilcloth, we're going to choose oilcloth bonded. You see, and then we're going to do the same thing we did before, which is just put that mat in. I have a mat over here. Put that mat in, and I've already got my rotary blade in there, so we're going to just hit go on this as soon as it's measured it and everything else. So There we go. Oh, so I wanted to tell you that the Rotary Blade does not come with the new maker. It does not. The original maker still is packed with a Rotary Blade, but because the emphasis on the Maker 3, I hope I said that correctly. So the Rotary Blade does not come with the new Maker 3, okay? Because the emphasis is not on fabrics for this machine. It's on like speed and matless cutting. So they're, you know, it's a little bit different. And I have all these little extra pieces, and I will go through and sort of cut the big pieces like this, because you never know when you can use those pieces of oilcloth, and that's how incredibly frugal I am. I don't know, you probably the same way. I think a lot of people are like that. When you grow up with Depression era parents, they teach you all these tricks that people just don't know these days. It's kind of funny. So while this is cutting, I'm also just going through and cutting the little strings that came off. Now, I will caution you, even if you use the oilcloth bonded, you're still going to get some of those strings there. And I honestly don't think there's any way around it. It's just the kind of fabric that it is, you know. But it's still pretty awesome that it can cut this, most of this, and you know, you get a very uniform. What am I trying to say? You get a very uniformly cut material, and your project will look all that much more uniform and pretty. So now you could, if you wanted to, as if oilcloth isn't pretty enough, but if you wanted to like put some sort of signage on this, you could do that. I would probably recommend that you do it with vinyl, although I'm sure somebody will try it with iron-on, and I think it would work with iron-on. And in fact, if you ever have a piece of oilcloth that's really super wrinkled, it's best to just take it out, lay it out in the sun, and then while the sun will melt it a little bit, and then you can smooth it out. Okay, it's done. And I can see already the cut is even better. You see that? I mean, it's still sort of attached there, and that's what I said, you know, it's still going to be, you have to pull it apart, and that's because of all the threads. That's all. So here we go, and you'll see that there's a little bit, but it's a lot easier. You see that? There we go. So we're just going to pull these apart, and let me bring you down to my work area, and we can talk a little bit more about what I intend to do with these over here. Move you down. Okay. Wow. Okay. So you can see that obviously it still has the masking tape, so I'm going to remove that masking tape. It might have cut at the top. That's okay. It cut straight through it, which is fine. And then I am going to get my scissors because I want to get rid of all of those little pieces of the cloth. Okay. And you see this definitely is coming off a whole lot easier. Personally, I would rather cut this with my machine than hand cut it, because I used to, remember when I told you guys that I had a soap crafting business? Well, in addition, because of course I can't just make soap, I also made different things, including these cosmetic bags that I used to cut out of oilcloth and sew them together. So I kind of know what I'm talking about because I've used this a lot. And hand cutting it was a pain in the butt. So I would nowadays, if I had the same business, I would definitely be cutting out those cosmetic bags on the machine. And this little bit of, this threads, no biggie. I mean, just not a biggie for that kind of precision. Amazing. And so you'll see that I actually cut out some in this cherry version, but then I also kind of I really like this. This looks much more picnicky. So I can do a couple of things with this. I could stagger these, and I'm just going to take some twine, this twine, which my dog got a hold of, you see. And let's make a nice long piece because I want to run this over the side of my garage where we have some lights. And actually we're having kind of an undiscussed neighborhood competition. Everybody's putting out lights and stuff. So I think I'm going to look really good because I have lights, and now I have now I'm going to have this pennant. So this is all you need to do. You're going to come in to the hole from the front and then in the back if you want to see, if you don't want to see the twine like this. If you want to see the twine, then it's the other way. So come up from the bottom and do this. Now, a lot of times you'll see people taking bias tape, which you could certainly do. Bias tape is generally made out of fabric. I actually like it the other way, so I'm going to go that way. And if you really wanted to, you could put a little bit of a knot here, but I kind of like the way they just sort of move and everything. So I'm just going to put them in here like this and make my banner. These are all uniform, so I think that that's what counts for this project. And again, the sun, the weather, nothing is going to harm this project because it really, I mean, unless it blows away during a hurricane or something, this is the original purpose of oilcloth. And really that's today's project, is this adorable. And remember too, you don't have to cut them this big. You could cut them even bigger. You could cut them smaller and incorporate them into something else. And yes, so just to kind of go back, I used to get all of my oilcloth from a company called Fabric.com, but it appears that Fabric.com has been purchased or sold out to Amazon. So it's best to just go to Amazon directly. You usually have to buy it either by the yard or sometimes you have to buy 2 yards. It comes very big. It comes very large in a large box. So when you get something like that, and we're going to be doing some faux leather. It's not faux leather. This is not faux leather. It is specifically called oilcloth. It's one word, although you can search by typing in oilcloth. Again, it's not made with oil anymore. It's just the name of the fabric, okay? So oilcloth, and it comes by the yard. Some colors are more more expensive than others, but I've been able to buy this for $5 or $6 a yard, and you can see them all. There's all kinds of ginghams. There's all kinds of these really retro-y kind of fabrics, and yeah, they're kind of kitschy and sort of gaudy, but that's what's so wonderful about them. I think they're very, very retro, and I really, really like them. So I will put a couple links to these from my Amazon account so you can see what it is that I bought. And remember, sometimes you do have to buy 2 yards. Sometimes if it says yard, you can just buy 1 yard, and it's really inexpensive, and it lasts forever. So if you don't use it, or you do have to buy a whole yard, but if you don't use the whole yard, you can just stick it in your stash and pull it out next summer. I love this stuff. And if you guys want to do these other type of things, look at this. This is like a little wallet. There's so much that you can do, including like placemats. Look at this, a storage cube. These adorable market totes. I've made those. Look at these little like lunch bags. So easy. And if you guys want to see how this works, even with zippers, this is what my mom did. She covered her chairs with these little, remember, she used this orange, just all orange oilcloth, and they have a picture of me. If I can hunt that up, I'll show you. But yeah, they have a picture of me sleeping, like with my mouth like all agape on this oilcloth pillow. So it's really fun. It's fun stuff to play with, and you can really increase like things, make things last longer. Look at these little coasters. There's so much to do with them, and I'm happy to show you if that's what you'd like. Okay, so that is it for today. I hope you've enjoyed this. If you have, please share it with your friends. I would love it. I mentioned it on my regular page. Last week I did 3 projects from the about pride. We did the butterflies. We did those cards that I used, the smart sticker paper, and then we also had stickers that we made. And I don't know if it's just the time of year or a Facebook algorithm, but it was like nobody was watching. I know my regular folks are watching, and I really appreciate that. But I just hope that really people aren't upset that I want to celebrate diversity. So yeah, thank you so much, Christine. So share it, and hopefully we'll get even more wonderfully like-minded people to visit us, and that would be fabulous. I would really love that. So thanks everybody for coming today. I will post this and all the links in YouTube and on Facebook, and we will see you again tomorrow. I'm trying to remember. I think we have a Father's Day project tomorrow, so we'll get going on that, because I know we're a little behind on that, but we have some Father's Day stuff to do. All right, everyone. Diversity is where it's at, folks. It's just, that's the wonderful thing about America. It's a melting pot, and melting pots, or maybe they don't call it a melting pot anymore, but that's what I was brought up to think. It was like a little melting pot, and we're stronger together, and we can be unified even though we're diverse. But that's me. I suppose there are other people that don't feel that way, and oh well. Thank you so much for coming today, and we will see you again tomorrow. And one last thing. I did get my badge, my button press, or my badge press. I'm going to play with it because of course I want to get some Cricut. I want to do some Cricut sort of sized buttons from Cricut images. So I'll let you know, and maybe I'll get so excited we'll do that tomorrow. But I do really feel like we need to get on to Father's Day, because it's coming up. All right, everyone. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you again tomorrow. Take care.